Monkey King.
Choose your hero.
Early game goes. You still think that they have enough to start off fights if the Earthshaker ends up behind?
For battle.
Mm-hmm. The boys. Hopefully for their sake, the dream will be realized today. But VGJ Strom, definitely no slouches and some impressive up-and-comers in this end. They've looked good over the past few days. Kind of made DC look a little bit fragmented as a squad yesterday. VGJ Strom, for the most part, were able to out-execute them in team fights and as far as macro movements go, outmaneuver them across the map. So I definitely feel like this is not in any way an easy opponent for EG. Certainly EG.
The battle begins.
This covenant.
So bottom lane, it is going to be by his lonesome, the Universe Underlord, and a top crit already. Looking to disrupt any sort of pull, get some information on the whereabouts of these VGJ Strom heroes. But speaking of which, he's going to get fissured and galed up. Torrent will connect onto 2, however. Chilling Touch going to fly out. Fear will throw a few blows into the Snaking Venomancer. In fact, they do quite a bit of damage, and that'll ensure the crit can back off. For the time being, RTZ going to freely farm the lane. But as you mentioned, I mean, this Monkey King, he's not a hero that does necessarily very well from behind. We do usually want to see him snowball in order to have success. And a very unforgiving decision from EG here to put him in this aggressive tri-lane configuration. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Universe holding his own, 5 CS on the Pit Lord. And it feels like if he doesn't make a misstep in this lane, there shouldn't be too much kill potential. As I say that, though, he'll be open wounds up, and the Fortune's End will come out underneath the tower. Second Purifying Flames. And Ritsu finds the kill. Stan King with just enough mana to make that work. Meanwhile, top, Boundless Strike goes out. Early on, that very short stun duration is not enough to kill off Flea, but it is enough to bounce him out of the lane.
Oh, bounty!
Wish fulfilled.
Okay guys, thanks for watching the DotaBoomTV and the save for my questions there. Send the chance to give
Universe gonna attempt to cancel the clarity and will. Stan King though sitting near full mana regardless.
Guys, very strong there. And subscribe to the channel, the DotaBoomTV, and watching the more games and championship, the ESL One Hamburg, final day to American qualifiers. There will be which game
Oh, Torrent connects, top lane, chilling touches there, cold feet as well, Boundless Strike, one more right click from the lance of Arteezy's Monkey King, and they will take him out of experience range effectively by sending him back to the well.
Yours.
Bounty!
Sorry about that.
Yep, they were able to, seeing Snake King dodge the torrent there, were able to get a D-ward off as well. So he's playing a little bit more blind than he was just a moment ago. And this combination of Flea and Snake King, their laning stage is going to get even more difficult. Meanwhile, Universe, waddling his way back to lane, but still has done decently, all things considered. I mean, Snake King is sitting on level 3 right now. Flea's still level 1 on the Earthshaker. Will the wave back a little bit with his Fisher, but still in a good position for EG here. And as you mentioned, Arteezy free farming, as is Sumail in the mid lane, doing very well with his matchup against 747.
I think not.
So Fear will get a side pull off and denies a couple of range creeps away from this dire safe lane. Flea executes just a single pull, just in attempts to drag the wave back under the tower and find a safe place to farm. But Snake King's rotated out of this lane, and I'm not sure whether EG is aware. Arteezy taking a look for him in the jungle, won't find him, and now they'll hit Torrent. Cold Feet is there as well. Primal Spring, Boundless Strike, and Flea. He's in a lot of trouble. They will proc the Cold Feet, and as the Jingu Mastery activates, Arteezy take out the Earthshaker.
Denied.
Universe gonna get open wounds bottom and simply just TPs back to his tier 1. So perhaps just a quick little lesson learned to the first death is that they don't have a stun in this. Again, Sumail just absolutely dominating this mid lane, and it looks like VGJ Strom going to think about addressing that issue. It is nighttime up on the high ground. Flea and the rotation in from Stan King as well. Sumail, though, feels rather elusive on this puck. We'll see if they can punish him here.
Double damage.
Looks like Stan is backed up behind this Dragon Knight, maybe anticipating a movement from...
Oh, Fear. He's caught out. In the jungle, Fisher will find him snaking nearby with the right clicks. Chant Totem doesn't actually connect. The Aftershock not skilled up, excuse. But they will get him Flea down eventually. Meanwhile, a stack being farmed up. Crit skilled 2 points into the Tidebringer, actually. So no X for him just yet. We saw this done quite a bit in China when the Kunkka support was first popularized.
He gives them, the Tidebringer gives them a little bit of extra damage for triggering hits. I mean, Torrent, as soon as you hit the first Torrent and it gets followed up by other spells, the scaling on the Torrent itself isn't exactly spectacular. It's mostly just damage and slow, right? So if Crit's ever looking to be in a scenario where he wants to push out a wave or get a bit of farming done, the Tidebringer helps a lot more. And actually, I think one of the things we should mention about the laning phase is both Arteezy and Sumail are sitting at 20 and 21 denies, which is quite a bit. I think it's taking a lot of EXP away from VGJ Strom, but the puck has 2 levels on this. The MetaMaster's still sitting at level...
Oh, with the coil there, they're going to be able to take down 747 here. Ryoya gets the Dragon Tail off, but ends up dying to the creeps. And so the gold will be split between Fear and his young prodigy Sumail. Stanking around mid lane, as is snaking. But a TP back from Sumail will keep him safe for now, and he will solidify this early lead he's been able to gain. You mentioned experience, definitely at this point in the favor of EG to the tone of 2k, but net worth as well around that mark as they take out.
Stan gets spotted out.
Yeah, they are going to jump forward. Primal Spring is there. It's a level 3 Primal Spring. Boundless Strike going to come out as well. Crit taking a lot of damage from 747 who's rotated in, but the Torrent going to keep the dire side at bay, and for now it'll be the 1 for nil. Snaking rotating in, but perhaps a moment too late. And as Sumail returns to mid lane, he'll find himself an empty lane to farm. And Universe, similarly, bottom will, for the first time in the game, push into the tower. Fleet getting TP in to look to defend bot. Thanking showing face mid lane. Still a good sequence of events, as has been almost the entire early game for EG.
And not only did EG get a kill there, but they also forced the 2 cores on VGJ Strom to rotate. And now they're kind of just stuck top, and no one's defending mid, and the Underlord also gets to push up bottom here. So quite a good exchange for Evil Geniuses.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, so with that first dragon form, Ryoya not going to get all that much done. Especially if you consider structural damage, of which he only got a little bit. Crit postured up in the trees mid lane aggressively, trying to facilitate this tower push for Sumail. They do have some vision nearby as well on the hill, and he will run to the Dragon Knight, but no dragon form, doesn't feel all that threatened as far as being disabled here.
So I think VGJ Strom's plan right now is to just reduce the amount of times they die, obviously, but try to find the opening and figure out what they need to make happen for that opening, because middle lane.
Yeah, they throw out the Veil. They'll get the full combo off. Ice Blast is going to be there as well. Torrent will miss, though, and Stan King comes through with the Fate's Edict still. It's not enough, however, with the double damage on Sumail to save the Dragon Knight.
Yep,
and they will finish him off and the tower.
Giving up kills, but I think maybe so they're in the lose position right now, so they have to figure out how to get back in. They have to figure out, first of all, how do we take a fight? How do we look for kills? Because right now, it doesn't feel like their lineup is configured to go for pickoffs, because Lightstealer needs someone to help him lock down a target, but this Earthshaker and the Dragon Knight aren't anywhere near in fighting shape, so if VGJ Strom make a movement, they have to be pretty sure that they'll catch and kill a hero.
Speaking of which, Sumail is going to be in a little bit of trouble. Gets the phase shift off, though. It is now level 2 and has 11 stick charges as well. They're going to run into Snake King. He's going to get pulled back by the X into the Ice Blast. Venomancer in trouble. The False Promise will be there for now. Sumail going to get his silence off and try and walk back. Meanwhile, on the west side of the fight, they've joined with Ritsu on the Lifestealer, looking for Crit, unable to find him. And now back to the north side after the False Promise. Well, Sumail going to be able to jaunt to the high ground. And this puck, and we talked about it kind of at the get-go, not all that much disable across the lineup of VGJ. It is all in the hands of the Earthshaker and the Dragon Knight, and Flea just not able, mobility-wise, to keep up with the Sumail puck.
and a ton of space being made, right? Universe, he just getting this tier 1 top. It should go down, so that opens up the map for EG. They now have taken their opponent's tier 1 mid and their opponent's tier 1 top, so that opens up the jungle for EG. And not to mention, Universe starting to pick up his farm as well after the death in the bottom lane.
Yeah, he cleaned up a few waves and got that tower last hit, so looking good here. 5th overall as far as the cores go. He can make a move to the enemy jungle and look to threaten this tier 2 as Arteezy, after the Fissure was casted, just short though of grabbing with the Primal Spring Bleed Earthshaker. Still though, they will pressure behind this tier 2 here early, at this early juncture into the game, 13 minutes in, and it doesn't seem like there's going to be a response mounted here by VGJ.
It really doesn't. I mean, VGJ, they don't have a lot of easy moves. I think they're probably making the correct decision to just try to trade this tier 2 top for their tier 2 bottom, but Universe, he starts TPing bot, he's getting set up, and the Kunkka's missing from the map for VG Strom, so you have to feel a little bit less comfortable here, especially with their lifestealer getting a little low.
He'll throw out the Firestorm, and that will deter Ritsu from continuing to push. There are still some players down, and the rest of the lineup of VGJ Strom is coming in, but in a timely fashion we will see Universe back off, and now that the Dragon form is popped, EG will have to think twice about assembling for this defense. They are going to TP in crit. Monkey King though for Arteezy still up in the top lane. Now though, they'll go up the torrent. Oh, they're going to catch him with the Pit of Malice. Beautiful combination from EG. Ice Blast will not be there, however, to connect on to the Rioya Dragon Knight. And as false promises tend to do, he'll be healed up to full. However, that will, at least for now, save the tier 2. It is in deny range though, if EG elect.
I mean, EG, they win that exchange, right? They get the tier 2 top. They really waste VG Storm's time. I mean, all of VG Storm's time matters right now because they need farm on their cores. And by not getting that tier 2, they defend the tower, obviously, and really don't lose anything from that exchange.
As Dragon Fire, Sumail will catch a glimpse of 747, and still top lane Arteezy pushing him. Ice Blast going to be just shy of the mark. Or Flea's Earthshaker. Still though, Arteezy unchecked in this early game by VGJ Strom, sitting at 7,200 net worth as Sumail. He's going to find a solo kill using the coil on Snake King. Now the TP out from Ritsu will be successful. Sumail with another double damage rune, and meanwhile, in the enemy jungle, Torrent is going to bring back Stan King, and Arteezy will kill off the Stan King Oracle. 7-2 for Evil Geniuses, and a sizable lead here in the early game at around 7,500 net worth and 5k experience.
It doesn't feel like VG Strom really drafted themselves away to handle this situation now that they're behind. I mean, their lineup does fantastically well if they actually get items on their heroes and they're tanky enough to survive the burst damage from Evil Geniuses, but instead they're stuck kind of with initiators that still need their blinks, right? Like, he is 1,000 gold away from his blink. I mean, Dragon Knight at some point needs a mobility item, but for now he's working on a hood just to stay alive, and so EG, they have the upper hand in this exchange since they have 2 heroes, 3 heroes technically, that can push out lanes pretty safely. The Underlord, the Puck, even the AA and Kunkka can sort of push out lanes, so you notice like VG Strom, they're kind of stuck on their half of the map, and they're really just playing EG's game. EG's heroes are just so much more mobile and deadly than VG Storms at this point.
If you're tempted to throw out the Ice Blast top, but just let it fly. And in fact, looks like VGJ Strom trying to bait out Flea here. He's been sitting in the lane for a while with the Lifestealer infested. EG, perhaps fortunately for them, could not connect with Ice Blast, so in Jade here. Now Arteezy thinking about it, though. Still going to gather some information. He's going to see the Dragon Knight now. Meanwhile, again, Sumail finds a kill across the map on Snake King. They'll get the tier 1 as well. So Arteezy, deep in enemy lines, does have this vision here. And now Echo Slam coming out onto Sumail, but he gets the Waning Rift off and should be able to, well, he's got a haste rune, so he'll make it over to the east. Arteezy going to come through with the Boundless Strike, and now the Ice Blast flying. Ritsu not going to get hit by it. The Wukong command will come out from Arteezy, and a beautiful combination going to come through from Crit. Boat is going to connect onto the Dragonite. He'll be the first to fall. Ritsu will fall second. And somehow Sumail surviving there with that what seemed to be a haste rune in his bottle. He makes it back to the shrine.
And so it was almost a smart play from VGJ Strom. Unfortunately, Francis doesn't have at least 3 points in his Aftershock. So actually the Aftershock was level 1 at that point. So it like didn't even chain stun the puck, right? The puck had time to get his phase shift off, which means that the bait failed, and as a result VGJ Strom they lose 2 heroes. 2 heroes. The EG, they continue to solidify their lead.
Quite farmed all throughout the lineup. I mean, even Fear has some gold on his equivalent, his Dire Side equivalent in Stan King's Oracle, and he's been buying a lot of wards. Stan King similarly has been trying defensively to up all this aggressive EG vision. I mean, Bronze, we've yet to see the full complement of spells used for VGJ Strom here. Specifically, Snake King hasn't really ever been involved. And EG have been constantly able to find these micro skirmishes. For VGJ Strom, I mean, how do they find this full 5-on-5 fight?
I mean, I think this might be the time. Francis has finished his Blink at 18 minutes. Unfortunately, he only has 2 points in Aftershock. I believe you need at least 3 points for the full chain stun, so he has to open with the Fisher possibly. And I think Stan King's going to be constantly assessing the map to see where the opening is, right? Because the Lifestealer, Earthshaker, and Festalom is still extremely potent for them.
Bot lane, Ritsu. They throw out the Ice Blast, do not connect, but they will connect with the Torrent and get the silence off. EG just outmaneuvering VGJ across the map, and kind of the only hero that feels safe to farm out completely alone for Ritsu is going to be punished for it.
They're set up down here with a ward. They're going to see at least 2 heroes.
Arteezy breaking the smoke of Flea. He's going to have to jump forward with the Echo Slam. And now Arteezy throws out the Wukong's command. That's going to back away the entire lineup of VGJ. Meanwhile, flanked from the left side, Universe coming through, has the Pit of Malice level 4, but did not see anyone just yet. Drums are going to be popped by Crit. There is a tier 2 nearby, though. And EG, not sure if they need to press here. Ritsu will jump forward and get the rage off. Gale is going to be there as well onto Arteezy. He's a big target to bring down. Jump forward. Waning Rift's not going to connect on anyone from Sumail, but they do get the Pit of Malice off and the boat coming through as well. They get the False Promise off onto Ryoya for the time being. Ritsu going to pop out. EG, though, they're just going to kite this False Promise away. X is going to be there again as Ritsu does get off his rage. Coming through, though, 3-man Aftershock from Flea. Gale's going to fly as well. They get Ritsu, however. Jingle Mastery there for Arteezy, but he's taking too much damage. He's going to drop, and maybe this is a fight VGJ are looking for. The Universe ticking down. Will he drop? He does. And over on the east side, they're going to find Crit as well. And finally, Franz, we see VGJ put it all together here in the top or in the bottom lane. But when all is said and done, it does end up only being a for 2. Definitely more value going the way of VGJ, but still, EG, not a terrible fight. But can't use it. Tries to Waning Rift and make it away. However, he will end up trading himself 1-for-1 for Ritsu, and it is a long respawn timer on that puck, who was sitting at level 18 which is by 4 levels higher than the next nearest VGJ competitor, and you see a bounty of 2,800 experience going the way of those 4 heroes for VG's.
So, I mean, that lets Stan complete his arcane boots as about 900 gold. I mean, they're more than happy with that exchange. They probably got a lot of EXP out of it as well, but it won't be enough. I mean, EG, they have a commanding 12k net worth lead. Yes. And so far, it feels like they also have much...
Arteezy, under the cover of his Shadow Blade, did get galed up, but support not inbound for VGJ, so it looks like...
Arteezy has to be a little bit careful here, because VGJ Strom, they have a war place in the lane, and they have 4 heroes that are hunting him. In fact, they use the scan, and they do have a dust on the Earthshaker, so if there's smoke ever popped, they would know to use the dust. But unfortunately, for VGJ Strom, they don't manage to catch Arteezy. Arteezy, playing a little bit carefully in the trees there, decides to TP out.
Arteezy going for this early Battle Fury on the Monkey King to kind of continue to widen the gap as far as network goes. It does kind of give Monkey King a way to farm that innately he does not have. But into the Roche Pit they'll go. And Solar Crest completed by Crit, top of the drums at this point. He is very farmed for the 4 position here on EG.
They make quick work of Roche. I'm sure that EG sensed that VGJ Strom were trying to make a play in the enemy jungle. In fact, all of VGJ Strom's wards are kind of really offensive right now. They're on the bottom half of the map, so if EG decide to sort of siege this high ground, there's really nothing or no vision VGJ Strom can work with.
Yeah, they must have known about the movements from VGJ, as they let creeps basically take half the HP of this tier 3. So looking, but not going to find. As Torrent flies out from Crit, she's going to back things off. Wave going to be cleared up, and Arteezy with the Shine buff and the Aegis up to the high ground. He's got pretty good range as well on his attack, so can be, kind of near the edge of the staircase. He's going to get disarmed by momentarily, but as the second wave approaches the VGJ Strom base, he will look actually to back out and reset, as bottom lane perhaps pushed in a little bit more than they're comfortable with.
Yeah, I think EG's intention there was to get a little bit of damage from the tier 3, but also force VGJ Strom back. And when VGJ Strom are forced back, they don't EG don't exactly want to be there, because VGJ Strom, they have a ton of burst damage that could potentially take out Arteezy in a really weird position. So EG, they have a ton of warding on the enemy side of the map. There's these 2 who's in top lane. I believe there's also a ward somewhere on the right side of the map. So EG, they know what's going on. As you said, they're looking to reset and probably look for an opening in the next couple of minutes to use that Aegis.
Yeah, they are a decent ways away from Arteezy's BKB. It's about 700 gold or so away at this point. So, I mean, they could wait for that, but that would likely be most of the duration of it.
And I think the thing to look out for now that Sumail is starting to put some good levels on this Dagon is whether or not he's going to just target Stanking for the entire game. And Stanking doesn't have an item like a Hood or a Glimmer Cape or any HP items at all, so he's a quick kill for Sumail and a pretty priority target as well, since that False Promise is so good on the Dragon Knight and Lifestealer.
Arteezy approaching that BKB milestone, and a couple of camps away from doing so here, so that'll be a major supplement to the fighting power of EG's side. They have a gem on Sumail as well, and haven't traversed the dire side of the map for the last little bit, but once they do, you would imagine that they're going to take out a lot of this defensive vision that Stan King has prepared for his side.
He's totally aware that VG's in this top jungle right now. VG had to walk through this so a little bit of tower damage being dealt to the mid tower. Sumail's starting to move in, probably looking to do some dewarding. VG Strom probably trying to get what they can out of the top side of the map, but I mean, the entire team of EG is missing the map right now. Oh,
Sumail in trouble, but he's the one to initiate onto the Venomancer, gets away up to safety. X is a little bit early from Brit, and unfortunately will not end up connecting, but Sumail pretty much walks under a ward here and is not punished for it, so could even be characterized as fortunate here. D side. nearby and is killable, it feels, for Sumail. He'll think about going in mid, maybe wait for the Fisher, and that he does. Oh, nice blink out, though, just in time for Flea, and he'll be able to dodge the East Blast as well.
And there's a gem on Puck, so the Shadow Blade on the Dragon Knight is a little bit less effective, but no, EG's still getting more out of the map at the moment, and all of the lanes are in a good position for EG, with the exception of bot lane, but bot lane's not really a threat to them right now. So feels like EG, they're walking up, looking to get some damage on this tier 3.
So Shadow Blade through from 747. Arteezy, he's going to be disarmed momentarily. As Aegis is going to get hit with the Dragon Tail. They're going to jump forward, veil him up, get the Gale off. They try to block him, but Sumail, he's initiated on the back lines. That's going to prevent them from continuing forward on Arteezy. And now they'll pop up the Wukong's command. They'll get off snaking as well. Ice Blast does not connect, in fact. But the False Promise has been baited out, and they get the tier 3. EG more than willing to back out and reset here. Do they have an Urn or anything of the sort? Doesn't seem that's the case. So they'll take the tier 3 for now and continue to play it safe. Not willing to feed over any sort of advantage here.
You can see EG's still respecting the teamfight potential of VG, so they decide to back off there. VG's actually smoked up, and they smoked within their base.
They scanned.
Yeah, I think EG totally know this is happening, right?
Yeah, they scanned mid lane and actually caught them just outside the base. So more than well prepared. Jump forward from Sumail's going to catch a 2-man Waning Rift. He'll make his way out to the east, and that'll force back the VGJ Storm. But yeah, to your point, respecting the high ground, the team fight, you know, the only time we saw VGJ have any sort of hope in a team fight was when they were able to fight with their entire squad present.
EG are so far ahead and in such a good position right now that they don't want to do anything to lose their lead, and kind of pushing the racks or continuing to fight into VG Storm there would have been a very high risk decision, considering that I mean VG Storm's heroes are still very good at dealing damage, and Monkey King and Puck not being the most tanky cores in the game. Arteezy, he completes his BKB. He's starting to work on a Butterfly, which should be a problem because Lifestealer and Dragon Knight are very far away from Monkey King Bar. See, EG's been doing a really good job of keeping their lanes out. They have Sumail on the top lane. They have Crit pushing out the bottom lane, and even if VG Storm gank Crit at this point, it probably wouldn't be worth it because it would give out so much information to EG about VG Storm's whereabouts and G Storm's warding patterns.
Male Dagon level 3 at this point, and close to another if he so pleases to upgrade it.
And so, you know, Roshan I think is respawning in a minute and a half approximately, which is a pretty quick Roshan respawn timer. So I think that's going to be nice for EG, especially since I think they're going to look to take the shrines and possibly take a Rax with the next Aegis.
VGJ Storm pretty much rendered blind at this point. The one ward that is near the Roche pit, and a couple of plague wards at the moment around their shrine, but aside from that, just huddled around this last remaining tier 2. Most of their line making, you know, kind of playing Sacrificial Lamb for his squad, the only hero out pushing waves. Crit gonna look to punish him here. Face boots. He's behind the tree. He'll find the Venomancer, and he's all by his lonesome. Stan King will not make it here in time, more than likely. He's up on the high ground, can't get the cast off. Now comes down though, gets the False Promise. A lot of damage has been taken. However, is this Dragon Knight. Wukong's command flies out. Crit's gonna get forced up to the high ground. Arteezy trying to make it towards Sumail on the back lines is gonna bring Stan King very low, and the coil is there. Everyone gonna reset here. No one dropped just yet, and in fact, Stan King is going to survive.
A lot of ultimates expended on both sides. Actually, it looks like Francis is getting ready to make an initiation here, possibly. But EG, they're gonna back off. I mean, VG Storm have been doing a really good job of keeping a relatively good amount of wards up and also staying off of the map, so EG feels a little bit better. You can tell EG they don't want to push anything at the moment. They're not even like being overly aggressive at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, you have a gem on Sumail's Puck. Like, for all intents and purposes, you can take out that shrine knowing that they only see the hero hitting it, but as you mentioned, not willing to jeopardize this massive lead that they've accrued at this point. They won't want to continue to press forward. I'll actually X up Arteezy from the low ground, and he will take out the shrine just in case there was an issue.
Someone scanned bottom and it picked up the... Actually, no, I think that scan was from VGJ Strom, so it didn't pick up anything. And Arteezy's continuing to farm up. He buys a Battle Fury on Monkey King to sort of solve those farming issues, right? Since EG had such a big lead, the Battle Fury has helped Arteezy really propel his farm. And you see a position, or you see a top net worth Monkey King where you normally wouldn't, especially with a quick farmer like Puck in the game.
He has the Eagle Song on his person. It looks like completed butterfly flying over. Indeed it is. Maybe this is the last piece of the puzzle as far as EG's toolkit necessary to push high ground, but no reason for them not to take a Roshan, as they do have a very considerable amount of map control at this point by virtue of that Sumail gem.
Dragon 5 also up on Sumail, so he's got a ton of damage right now, and I think the only reason why Stan survived that fight was because Sumail was missing one of his spells, and also the raindrop on Stan keeping him alive. But Sumail, I think they de-warded the last ward coming out of VGJ Strom around this Roche pit, so they have most of the vision control around the pit at the moment. And you can see EG, they have a ward where the VGJ Strom shrine used to be, and also a ward on the spire next to Roshan.
Maybe baiting Roche here, the EG side, as they take out the ward, and perhaps thinking VGJ want to look to enter the pit. And they're going to be pretty much correct in doing so. Jump forward though, Echo Slam on the side is going to find a couple. The Poison Nova follows as well. Ice Blast going to fly through, only connects on the BKB Dragon Knight. Now Arteezy going to join the fray, BKB'd up, pops the Wukong's command, can't keep anyone in, as EG have already lost 2 and a gem on the floor as well. Dark Rift coming out from Universe. Gem going to be picked up by the VGJ side. And a decisive initiation from Flea is going to catch out a few, namely the most important one, that Sumail Puck. Not only does it secure them a team fight victory, but will secure them the Roche on the back of it.
I mean, team fight by VGJ Strom, they managed to catch really important heroes, and actually, in a surprising turn of events, they managed to be the ones getting Roshan despite being 13k network behind. This could be VGJ Strom's chance back into the game. Unfortunately, of course, they're still 13k, or they still have quite a net worth deficit.
But it does give them a gem, which is maybe, aside from the Aegis, arguably the biggest benefit that they gain from that exchange, is that maybe they can start to at least ensure some vision on their side of the map.
Yeah, they can do some dewarding, and they can also threaten EG's lineup a little bit more, because now that Shadow Blade on the Dragon Knight is harder to detect, at least until EG pick up another gem.
Yes.
You know, EG still have the wave clearing advantage. They just have to make sure that they do a good job of moving around the map right now. Oh.
Dust Fisher is going to catch Arteezy. It's pretty quick though. The Shadow Blade and under the cover of fog will make it free.
They have to, EG have to make sure they don't give the opening to the VGJ Strom, and I think part of the reason why Sumail got caught there was because EG were probably feeling a little bit confident with that smoke. So Sumail was probably thinking, hey, we're gonna start a fight, so it's okay for me to be smoked and walk up, or walk into the river, right, or walk near the river. But VGJ Strom, they plant this this observer ward, which I think spotted out the heroes from EG, and so the team fight got started on a really bad foot for EG. And if EG are missing the puck, I think their team fight doesn't operate, just because it's so important that the puck gets his CC spells off, especially on Stan King and the Venomancer.
You can see that EG kind of had the right idea, though, baiting out the Roshan. They did bring VGJ Strom in as expected, but as you mentioned, just that little bit of a vision advantage, and Sumail not fully taking the safest route through the high ground towards the pit, how they get punished. So VGJ with a nice little set of circumstances for their side. Tanking going to hit his level 16 mark, so fairly close to that low cooldown false promise at this point.
If any anything, this Aegis just buys VG Storm some time to push. EG aren't really gonna give an opening to VG Storm, and so VG Storm, they're not really in a position to push any towers really, unless, even if they're 5-man grouped up, because EG, they're keeping all of their lanes pushed out. EG also have a ton of anti-push. I mean, all five of their heroes have a way to stop VG Storm from, or deter VG Storm from pushing power.
RTZ mid lane, thinking about making moves, but is, you know, more than weary that there is a gem on the opposite side of the field. And he would flutter back away as Sumail starts to chip into this shrine bottom lane. Easy perhaps gathered enough.
Dragon Knight has completed a Soul Edge, BKB has a hood and a cheese, and Ritsu has AC Armlet Desolator. So this Lifestealer is in fighting shape. I'm sure that with the Desolator and Assault Cuirass, he's more than capable of bursting down one of EG's cores, including the Underlord.
Scary amount of farm ups on this Lifestealer after that team fight.
I think there was probably a big rubber band from that Roshan, but also EG haven't really pressured VG Storm as much as they would have wanted to in the 10 minutes prior, and part of that is just VG Storm are doing such a good job of finding farm for themselves and sort of making EG feel more pressure than they should.
VGJ make quick work of the tier 2 in the mid lane, and Sumail looking for a straggler to defend top. It is snaking, but he's a bit deep in the dire base, so we'll think better of pressing forward. Again, it seems like these team fights, as we alluded to in the draft, are on the back of Flea's initiation, and he has been absolutely accurate with every single initiation in the past 3 fights.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think VG Storm in general have a better initiation, especially since Kunkka's like the main, Kink and Puck are the main initiators for EG, and they're not the best, especially because the Dragon Knight and the Lifestealer have a BKB now. So I imagine if EG wins a fight, it's because VG Storm are out of position and EG catches them there.
Almost immediate response to the Assault Cuirass on the dire side is Arteezy's Assault Cuirass comes out. Touched upon a couple of times. This Battle Fury, early Battle Fury decision with the lead he had, really aiding him in scaling through this one.
Yeah, AC's a little bit of a strange pickup, right? Because you don't usually see heroes get both Butterfly and AC. Usually fulfills a similar purpose, attack speed, a little bit of physical damage mitigation, but I think it works well on Monkey King just because Monkey King needs as much attack speed as he can get. And Monkey King already gets a lot of health from his talents. He has a plus 25 health talent at level 15, and Arteezy can potentially take the plus 25 strength at level 25 as well.
Another thing to mention about it is that they, as a lineup, are not amazing at hitting buildings, and Assault Cuirass will help in that endeavor, if just slightly.
I mean, VG Storm, they're happy with what they've got, I think. Even though they really haven't used the Aegis, they've sort of kept themselves in the game, and you know, the net worth lead hasn't really changed in the last little bit. I mean, EG's covered a bit of it, but VG Storm, they're still getting farmed on their cores, so they're not disappointed with
Jump forward mid lane. They're going to find the Echo on Sumail once again, and Deja Vu in the mid lane as VG Storm's Flea will put the team literally on his back and deliver them to EG Puck.
And with that pickup, I'm tempted to say that even though VG Storm are behind in net worth, it definitely feels like they are in a little bit of control of this game now. I mean, Lifestealer's sitting at 2.7k HP, so he's not an easy kill for the Puck. If anything, this Monkey King is responsible for dealing with both the Dragon Knight and the Lifestealer in fights, so curious to see how EG will respond to this when the Puck responds.
Kiva's Guard not far off here for Universe, but it doesn't feel like he's made all that much item progression since the mid game. Meanwhile, with the Dragon form queued up, Rioja will take out the last outer tier tower for EG, and that was, you know, early on a big part or a big result of this lead that EG had is that all these towers were still up for the Radiant side, and after that first fight near the Roshan pit, they get a tier 1 mid. Now they get a tier 1 and a tier 2 in the offlane, so a lot of gold that was left on the map for VGJ Strom to pick up, and they have eaten into this EG lead fairly significant amount.
I think VG Storm's plan here should be to continue what they're doing right now. They're getting a lot of farm off of the map. They're actually getting the upper hand with these initiations, but EG, they should probably pick up another gem, put it on the puck just so we can hunt down Stanking, who has the Glimmer Cape now, and try to catch VG Storm in sort of a weird position where you burst down Stanking, and you keep VG Storm's heroes in a weird place where the Aghanim's Dream Coil and the Monkey King ult can do work.
Snaking, timely invisibility rune will pop the smoke of EG and force them to back.
The Arteezy actually takes the crit multiplier balance on by, which is actually an astounding talent if you consider how much damage it does. I mean, Boundless Strike already has a crit multiplier of 225%, so just adds like an extra auto attack of damage to that. It'll probably end up doing maybe like 800 damage per Boundless Strike if he has the Jengu Master stacks up.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like EG wants these fights to be drawn out.
I'm just kidding.
With their
It doesn't do
itemization.
800, it does 1500 damage apparently, so a lot of damage coming out of that Boundless Strike. To the creeps.
Indeed. But yeah, not going for the strength. I mean, it feels like they've either died very quickly or been able to net kills rather quickly for the EG side. So kind of makes sense to me that he won't go for it.
Oh, an altercation happening.
Arteezy. Sentry is down, and they do spot him briefly. They'll need another one to continue to give chase, but they will think better of it. Arteezy did have most of his lineup behind him.
Yeah. EG just don't feel like they're playing as if they're ahead. I mean, both teams just doing a lot of farming, and I imagine they're also waiting. A little bit is that they're waiting for Roshan, but also either team's giving their opponents an opening, and it's not easy for EG to initiate despite having that net worth lead.
Arteezy gonna flutter up alongside Sumail and Crit. Not willing to walk upstairs at this moment, but they will make a beeline to the right side where Crit leads the charge. Doesn't have an Aether Lens, so it is rather limited. His does have a Force Staff though. They catch a glimpse of the Dragon Knight. Maybe not the ideal target to open on here. I already mentioned the cheese and the BKB. I don't know. Sees the creeps. It's gonna spook him a bit. He'll go under the phase shift and try and make his way back. Flea approaching, but unable to find the opening this time. Roche does spawn here. Arteezy into the pit. Real quickly with the double damage rune, they try to take this out. Orb will fly from Sumail, and EG will be able to sneak to Roche.
That was an extremely... I mean, classic 40-minute double damage into Roshan, honestly, and VG Storm, they didn't have a chance to react, but they also grouped up, and they have the lifesteal in the Earthshaker. So we'll see if they try to make something happen off of it. He's starting to run towards the bottom. There's not a lot of targets on the map, though. The only hero that has shown on the map is this Underlord, but Universe is a little bit wary right now, staying around his base while the rest of his team is on the left top half of the map.
Easy hunt by his... Is going to be spotted by this Dire Ward.
Actually a BKB coming up on the Earthshaker, so that should guarantee the initiation from Francis. I mean, one of his concerns this game was probably just getting clipped by a multitude of AoE spells, which would have canceled his blinks. With that BKB, it gives the Lifestealer bomb a little bit more assurance.
In the meantime, you're doing some warding, but it's been scouted by the Dire and they pinged it out. So it doesn't feel like Vici will take the bait that EG are trying to set up their jungle.
It just shows a little bit of the meta right now that neither team really wants to push the envelope. And I think in order for EG to feel comfortable pushing. They have to think that VG aren't grouped up ready to defend. So you can see
Arteezy, range rack though. They see the Ritsu lifestealer on the high ground, and he'll take out the range racks here. Has an Aegis available. Is going to get fished up. Jump forward from Flea. They get the infest out. Arteezy getting low with his first life. He'll get forced back. Torrent is there as well, but they pop the Aegis. Now Sumail's jump forward and gets the Dagon off onto Snaking. He'll be forced to glimmer up. Arteezy will be forced back by Crit. His way out, so they get a range racks here. They do lose the Aegis, however, and now Flea hunting with his Shadow Blade and his gem. Oh, Sumail's nearby. They get the Boundless Strike off. Sumail does get the phase shift out. False Promise is going to be there in time, and now Flea looking for an opening here, but Arteezy BK beat up. Coil is going to connect onto the Dragon King. He's out of no man's land, and they don't have a False Promise for him. They'll take out the tankiest target on VGJ. He's got no buyback for 80 seconds. This is EG's opening if I've ever seen one. We'll see if they continue to press forward here. They know there's still an Echo Slam and a Poison Nova, and they do not have BKBs. Still need to be very respectful of possibilities here for VGJ.
You can see,
except RTZ. He's going to jump forward with the Silver Edge, put a few right clicks into Snaking and into the melee racks. Now jumping forward is Universe. Still, again, no buyback for the Dragon Knight. X up onto RTZ. Shine buff is there. Jump forward. Echo Slam. They're going to try and take him. However, Glimmer caped. Crit will keep him alive. Now a Dagon doing a little bit of work. Boundless Strike does not connect for Arteezy, however. And 35 seconds without a Dragon Knight.
EG had a pretty cool decision to hit on their Lifestealer there, and although they didn't end up killing Lifestealer, the Dragon Knight got caught in a little bit of a strange position, and another D-Dealer in top that Arteezy will pick up. See if he tries to make something happen with this. This actually just... Oh, he's getting XTP'd, so he'll have full health. He might decide to run into the enemy, try to get a quick pick off, especially with his double damage.
Yeah, indeed he will. Silver Edge. He'll find the Earthshaker. Oh, the Boundless Strike. And that's a gem down. Now he's going to press for more. He may just find Stan King. He's going to slow him up with the Primal Spring. Doesn't have detection behind him, though. Crit coming through. And there's just a BKB and two swipes of a Monkey King bar. Double kill for Arteezy.
Snaking just force-stabbed Stan into his death, but at the same time, Stan, why did he turn around? But, you know, 2 quick kills with his double damage could be just what EG needs to push this high ground. There's a buyout on the Earthshaker.
Onto the high ground. Break, though, coming through from the Dragon Knight. Instantly X back, however. Does take a decent chunk of damage. And melee rack still standing here. As you mentioned, the Earthshaker does have a buyback. No Echo for about the exact same time as he has to respond. So we may just see him hold on to the buyback. Poison Nova going to be whiffed here from Snaking. Don't know if it's quite the opening EG though. A one-man Ice Blast and Fear rotating over slowly. Jump up, Mail. Put a little damage into the Ritsu Lifestealer, but still.
Honestly, EG can keep this up as long as their backline doesn't get jumped, right? And Arteezy's sitting on almost 6k gold, so he can buy a Boots of Travels, he can pick up a Moon Shard, and they can continue to slow siege like this. I mean, they did a good amount of damage to the melee racks, and obviously the ranged racks isn't what EG were just going for with that Aegis, so I think you can see EG's taking a little bit of the offensive now, feeling a lot more confident moving around on the enemy side of the map, especially after those 2 pickoffs.
Looks like Arteezy contemplating getting rid of the treads. He's got the Flutter to get into fights, and he's got the Abyssal Blade queued up. That's what he opts for.
It's kind of cool, actually. This Monkey King doesn't really need mobility since his tree dance provides so much of it for him.
Kumail behind enemy lines. He Shadow Bladed up. Does have dust on him. None of these heroes have any gems nearby.
Bounty.
Yeah, the
gem is on Crit.
Crit's holding the gem right now, and does feel a little bit scared too, just because there's a Silver Edge on the Dragon Knight, and pretty much 1 stun on the puck is a death sentence for him.
He does have the 420 Blaze at GPM talent though, and now has a full Hex on top of the Ags.
Looks like he's picking up a Refresher as well. Silence. It's gonna be a lot of spells. 2 Hex, 2 Dream Coils, 2 Dagons. What can you do?
Well, flame your Oracle when he doesn't false promise you in time. I think that's the play.
The Oracle's dead. He has Dagon twice. 1-2 punch. Bam, bam. Probably not like that, actually. Probably just a Hex. And then a slow death. And then a refresh from Sumail, and then he kills your Venomancer. Speaking of Venomancer, Snaking level 25 now. Picks up the Mega Ward talent. Higher level than his Dragonite, so Snaking's done a good job of catching himself back up on the game. And you can see that the 3 cores on VGJ Strom have almost equal net worth, so they've been doing a good job of distributing and finding farm. You know, both teams look passive right now. It's because they're both respecting the team fight potential of their opponents, and especially the initiation potential of their opponents, now that so many items on the game.
Not to mention the stakes. The trip to the Major on the line. For a Hex of his own is the Universe Underlord as well.
A little bit of a deviation from the usual Underlord build, which is just to tank up as much as possible, but these Hexes are sort of necessary because their lineup inherently lacks long forms of initiation. Unfortunately for them, the Hex actually gets cast false promise, so EG, they can do, if they do a good job of keeping Stan out of these fights, I think these Hexes will be extremely useful, especially because Monkey King needs as much time hitting these cores as possible.
Feels like he's going to be the main target for these Hexes, as you alluded to earlier, and even his Fortune's End can purge it off of an out. He's in good... Arteezy in, speaking of good position to break this smoke, and we'll see most of each, but they're going to get a ward down, although Echo Slam into him instantly. He's going to take a lot of damage from the low ground. They get the poison sting off, though a huge Ice Blast from here comes out. Wukong's command is there with the right clicks from the Boundless Strike. Sumail's combo comes through, ultra kill for Arteezy, and the Hex out onto Snaking, back into the Torrent, and into his death.
Sumail with the
as VGJ Strom, of course. Sumail takes the 5th kill.
You can see Arteezy was waiting to take that rampage.
Raise your baby rages, chat. But a massive bait Arteezy was for his squad. 2 buybacks come out, but none left for this dire side.
I mean, it feels like VGJ Strom kind of ganked themselves there, right? They saw Arteezy on the cliff and they're like, hey, let's all go jump on him, right? But then they really just clumped themselves up for the wombo combo of the Evil Geniuses. I mean, we haven't really seen the wombo combo just because VGJ had been so diligent about staying away from it, so really good team fight from VGJ.
Ice Blast flies mid, nice staff from Snaking, but still the Dagon's there, the Hex is there, and one last right click will shatter as the good games are called. And a quick DC from Ritsu here in game 1. We'll see if VGJ can compose themselves after that win, but just the one opening, Arteezy up in the trees, able to provide, you know, the necessary setup for, well, maybe VGJ providing the necessary setup for EG fight there, but the long-standing lead EG had will finally translate into a win here in game 1 front.
I think EG, they just took a commanding lead in the early game, and they were extremely patient.
Hey, bro, don't you look at that?